Hey, what's up, guys? Matt here with OddsJam, and in this video, I'm going to be giving out some player prop bets for Thursday night football tomorrow. So I'm recording this on Wednesday. Obviously, Thursday night football is tomorrow, but obviously also whenever you watch it, go ahead and lock in these player props. I did come out with a betting preview for this game, just looking at like the main lines, point spread, money line, total, any other type of bets that I liked as well. So if you want to watch that, it is on the OddsJam YouTube channel, but for this one specifically, like I mentioned, just locking in some player props. So the first play I found using OddsJam, using their positive expected value page. So I'll talk about why this play is positive EV, and then I'll talk about how you can find OddsJam to possibly find even better plays, which is exactly what I did. So the play here is Davis Mills over his completions, but I'm actually not locking in the over 22.5. I'm actually going to lock in Davis Mills over 21.5 at minus 114 at PlayUp, which you can't see at PlayUp. You can see now. So I'll talk about like the math of what positive EV means and how that stuff works, and also explain to you the importance of line shopping and all that stuff, which is how I found an even better bet. So this play specifically, I put a unit on it, Davis Mills over 21.5 passing completions. I locked this in at minus 114 at PlayUp. So let me just add this to my bet tracker real quick. Tracking your bets, incredibly important. So let's talk about like the math of positive EV. And what I will say is if you don't have PlayUp, I still do think that this is a good bet, taking it at Tipico at minus 110 or Bet Rivers at minus 113. I'd probably only put either like a 3/4 of a unit as opposed to a full unit. If you can only get one of those two, like if you don't have PlayUp in your state. But regardless, so the way positive EV betting works is, so the no vig odds column you see here, OddsJam calculated, a bunch, or I guess I should say, they back tested a bunch of betting opportunities, just like thousands and millions of data points, trying to determine what sportsbooks do the best job at pricing odds. So they collected all of this data and use that to determine, okay, these are the books that are the best. And then to apply that towards a future betting opportunity, they just removed the VIG from all of those sharp sports books, remove the VIG, giving a weighted average to the sharper books. So if one book was better than another, like let's say there are 3 sharp books, but one of them is the best of the 3. That one will have a heavier weight towards how this no VIG odds are calculated. And the VIG, just the juice that sportsbooks price up odds. So like whenever you see a betting market, like the most standard one you'll see is minus 110 each way. Basically, that means that there are 2 bettors, each risking $100 on both sides. So I'm betting an over, you're betting an under. We're each risking $100. The winner of that bet will only profit $90, and the loser will lose all $100. So that gap, the $10 gap, that's how sportsbooks make money. That's the VIG, the juice, the tax that they price odds. So removing that gives you an accurate representation of what they truly view a market to be priced at. So it can be viewed as quote unquote the true line, the perfect line of a betting market. So anywhere in which you can beat the true line, beat the betting line, or the true line of what a market should be priced at, the no vig odds, that's positive expected value, right? Should be priced at minus 118. Tipico's offering it at minus 110. Bet Rivers is offering it at minus 113. Positive expected value. So for this play specifically, it's still a good play, but if you click open a play in a new tab, which is exactly what I did, it pulls up odds for what every sportsbook not only prices like this individual play, but what they price this market at in general. And what we can see here is we can get one completion lower for only 4 cents difference in odds. So we can go from 22.5 completions at minus 110 to 21.5 completions at minus 114. And look at the difference in like where sportsbooks price the over 21.5. Minus 151. Pinnacle, minus 145. Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook in the world. And then we see other sharp sportsbooks like BetOnline price the over 22.5 at minus 143. And we're getting it, like I said, one full completion lower. And that's a big deal with numbers this low. Like we're betting on like the difference between like 20 and 21. Like that's a massive deal. It's a 10%, 5% difference depending on how many completions and stuff. And that just shows the importance of line shopping, why you should be signed up for every book. Because A, you're just maximizing your opportunities of finding a positive EV play. So like play up, if I wasn't signed up, I would have still have had a good bet. Now I have an even better one. And the more sports books you're signed up with gives you a better representation of what a market should truly be priced at. You can compare not just 1 or 2 books, but 10, and you start to get a better idea of the betting landscape. So first bet for Thursday Night Football player props, Davis Mills over 21.5 completions, -114 at play up. Or if you don't have play up, take him over 22.5, -110 at Tipico, or -113 at Bet Rivers. That's number one. Number two, and I actually used the OddsJam screen to place this bet, is Davis Mills again, but in this time we're actually fading him to go under 21.5 passing yards. So this is another play that I would like to put a full unit on. Looks like I can only get $14.25, but for those of you at home, this is worth another play that's a full unit. Now, let me talk about the handicapping first, because I know it probably sounds counterintuitive to take his over on completions, but his under on passing yards. So let me just explain that for a second. The Eagles, the way they play defense, they play off coverage, and they're more than happy to give up the short completion as opposed to getting beat deep. So they'll give up the easy 2, 4, 7-yard completion depending on the down and distance all game. They're all game. They're happy to do that. What they're not happy to do is give up a ton of passing yards. And their cornerbacks, Darius Slay and James Bradbury, have just been phenomenal all year. So I don't think Davis Mills is going to be able to get a lot going deep. I think they're going to be losing, so I think they will be passing. But I think he's only going to have checkdowns at his disposal. So I think it makes a ton of sense to take his under passing yards, but his over completions, because maybe he'll pass for 25 completions, but only for 210 yards. He could easily hit both the way the Eagles play defense, their defensive philosophy. So that's the handicapping. I did want to get that out of the way because I'm assuming people are going to be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But the value on this one is just as good as his completions one. Now, obviously, going from 21.5 to 22.5 is a much bigger deal percentage-wise from going to 221.5 to 220.5. But look at where all these sportsbooks price Davis Mills passing yardage total, aside from BetMGM. Like they have it at, they have it at 221.5 at -120 odds. FanDuel has it 4 yards lower at 217. Caesars has it at 220, and they favor the under. Bet Rivers has it at 219, and they favor the under. BetMGM has it for 220, roughly even money. FoxBet has it at 217.5, matching FanDuel. Pinnacle, and this is the most important part here, Pinnacle prices it at 220.5, but they heavily favor it to go under. They price the under at -245, a full yard lower than what Davis Mills has. And then look at like PointsBet, 215.5, Tipico, 219.5. PrizePicks has it all the way down at 212. So all of these sportsbooks have it priced pretty massively below the 221.5 that BetMGM is giving you, and most sportsbooks that do price it lower, about half of them favor it going under that number. So I think that this is an awesome price for positive. It's a positive EV play that I think is an awesome price using the OddsJam screen to find these betting opportunities. So those are going to be my 2 Thursday Night Football betting picks as of right now. Obviously, over the course of today and tomorrow, odds are going to shift. There's going to be way more plays for us to bet on. So make sure to subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel to get all those plays moving forward. But that is it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.